Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dealing with Cancellations. I'm Andy Ebon. I ask you write down one thing. One, it is andyebon.net, because at the end of the week, meaning Thursday afternoon tomorrow, you'll be able to download the slide deck from this and my other 3 presentations, so you don't feel you have to write down everything that's on the screen, because it'll be there for you. Can I get an amen? Amen. All right, good. Now, I am somewhat experienced in the world of being a wedding professional. I worked in the DJ entertainment business for 25 years, and I had a few experiences, not all of them good, but certainly all of them helpful to learn from. My record is over 2,000 weddings. I have 3 small claims court situations. I have 3 wins and no losses. The brides are 3 losers. There are a couple of things you should take from that. Not that I never lost anything, but that I didn't have a lot of back and forth with brides and grooms about contracts and agreements and arguments over money. So the first thing we're going to address is how to avoid some of the issues that may come up. I learned long ago in sales training, some 30 years ago, that we should all be like the state of New York. We should have plain English agreements. It should not read like it was written by 3 lawyers in a white tower. If your contract, if your agreement, if your paperwork can't be limited to 1 page, you're already in trouble. It shouldn't need a translator. It should read in plain English so that you and I, the business and the bride and groom, can understand it. There should be a deadline. You don't just send out agreements willy-nilly that have no particular return date. They should come back, must be returned on or before a certain date. Now, way back when in the ancient times when I was doing DJ work, that time was usually 7 to 10 days. There's no reason for it now. You shouldn't be mailing anything. It should be going electronically, and as you come back, how fast? 2, 3 days, whatever you think it makes sense. I would say to people in the current tense, if I'm sending an agreement today, it should be, what's today, Wednesday? It should be back by the close of business on Friday. If there's something else to think about, you say it. If there's some question that comes up when you get the paperwork, just give me a call, I'll answer the question. Otherwise, I'll be holding that date through the end of Friday. After that, it's up for grabs. There's no reason to pencil in dates. You make an agreement, you send it out, you get it back in a couple days, that's fine. Now here's the difference. Let's say a bride and groom didn't check their email, God forbid, and they don't get it back to you, and then you suddenly get a call on Saturday. What you now have is a voidable agreement, not a void agreement. A voidable agreement means if you want, you can extend them a couple, 3 days if you choose to. Or if not, you can drop the hammer and say, gee whiz, I'm really sorry, I got a call Friday evening, and that's that. Make that clear that this is a hard deadline, and know that you have the option to extend it if you choose to, but if you don't. And everybody kicks themselves when we extend, deadlines and don't get it back. There's no challenge these days to return the agreement, give your credit card number, and seal it right there. Now, oops, there we go. It's important, in order to not have disputes, to make things understandable. A court will only uphold an agreement that is fair to both parties. It's like, if you can cancel and I can't, that's not fair. If there's compensation one way and not the other way, that's not fair. It doesn't fly that if it's in an agreement that it's going to be upheld by a court. It's only going to be upheld by a court unless it's fair. Okay? The old line, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. When should your cancellation window stop? Mine was pretty simple. I did 60 days. And I would say, we ask, and you see the way that I like to see it is, I ask for 50% deposit up front. And then I would say laughingly, so if you're going to realize that that's non-refundable, at 61 days, you can cancel for any reason. The deposit is gone, but you will be off the hook for the balance. So please, if you're going to fall out of love, please do it 61 days or more out. All right? Sell with laughter. Make them respond by saying, oh, we're not going to fall out of love. We're madly in love. It's like, this is the beginning of an engagement. We never know what's going to happen. At 61 days out, I don't care why they're going to cancel. It makes no difference. They should be able to cancel for any reason. Any reason. That's the way it should read. We'll, after you sign the contract, before the cancellation window is open. Cancellation is greater than 60 days before the wedding. Well, you can have a 90-day window. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're a photographer. No, whatever you feel your window should be, make it your window. The logic is the same. We as photographers generally don't get rebooked for that date 60 days out. Photographer is one of the first booked, therefore should have the longest window. But have a window. And don't make it 30 days or you might as well stab yourself in the eye with a fork. All right? You've got to have something clear. The client may cancel for any reason outside whatever window you decide on, and be clear about collecting the balance. What do I mean by that? I swore one day in my entertainment career I wouldn't make my disc jockeys into money collectors. And so I always ask for payment 10 days in advance, because daddy didn't have the checkbook or the bride has to run up to the room. It's just sloppy and difficult. So make it easy and know that you're going to get your money 10 days ahead of the event. Extenuating circumstances. We broke up. My fiance died. My family member was struck by lightning. There are all kinds of excuses for cancellations 14 days out. Some of them may actually be true. As our long ago late President Reagan once said, trust but verify. So what do you want to ask for? I don't want to ask for a death certificate, but I'd like to ask for an obituary to know that that's true. Now, how you ask for that is, you need to be careful how you ask for that. But I have been lied to in every way possible. If you're in business long enough, you'll find some fresh ways that people will lie to you. You have a fair agreement. You get paid 50% up front. You have your window of 60, 90, 120 days. You'll accept any cancellation outside of that. Why do you keep the deposit? Because you actually put in work before you shoot photos, before you DJ, before you are shooting video, or whatever the case may be. It's not hard to explain, although I would say we are lousy in the wedding industry of making our contracts, our agreements comprehensive. And they don't show when we're doing other things. I know from working with photographers and videographers that they do the lion's share of work outside of the actual event. Now, what wedding pros owe the client? And I'll just hit a couple here that'll say things. My essential philosophy is to know that if you go to court, you are held to a higher responsibility than the client. You're supposed to know more. And that goes to my first one, which is you should protect the client from their own stupidities. Do I say that to be condescending? No, I say that to be accurate. We know more than our clients. You need to not just say yes to everything. You need to explain why this may not be the best way to go about something, and try to get them to see it your way. If they don't see it your way, that's fine. At least you've done your job of properly informing them. You see things like proper arrival plus an extra half hour. If you're late, if your equipment fails, I know that these folks that are photographers here, they carry backup equipment, backup lenses, backup batteries, and all kinds of crazy things. Why? Because nobody drives without a spare tire. Because you never know when something's going to fail. The third to the last, remember you're part of the team. You're not operating, even if you've been hired directly, all by your lonesome. You're part of a group of people. So let me hit you with this, and then we're out. What matters in court is only what's in writing and what you can prove. Don't dress like you are Donald Trump. Dress casual, business casual. Don't look like you're rich and the bride's going to show up with no makeup and a poor innocent thing. You need to make a a comfortable impression. You need to not excessively pat yourself on the back for being right, and you always need to be in control, and documentation in advance. Last thing, 30 seconds. This is my friend Jerry. Jerry is somebody I worked with. I helped him sell his business at he was about age 40, and he was suffering from lymphoma. And he was not doing well. He was up in Seattle at the Hutchinson Cancer Center. And I called him and he told me he only had 2 weeks to live. And I was kind of distressed. I wanted to go see him this Saturday, and I had a wedding. I called one of the DJs in my company. I said, would you substitute for me? I need to go visit Jerry before he passes. And he agreed to do that. I called the client. I called to confirm everything, said, we've got everything. There's just one thing. My friend is on his deathbed. I want to go visit him before he passes, and I've arranged for my senior DJ, Jeff, to be up there. And she said, but Jack and I really wanted you for our wedding. Never seen me, wasn't referred to me, wasn't in the agreement. I said, well, if I could have, I'll shorten the conversation. If I could arrange for him to have died at a more convenient time, I would have done so. And 2 weeks later, I get a thank you letter from her that said, Jeff was great, he did a wonderful job, but Jack and I really wanted you to be the DJ for our wedding. So the reason for closing with a sad story like that is somebody will always be unreasonable, but I owed her a good job from my company and I gave it to her. No discussion about money later. Be fair, be competent, be on time, be a team member, and be clear, and you'll avoid all kinds of cancellations. I hope that points somebody in the right direction. I appreciate your time.